So welcome, everyone. We wanted to introduce you to one of our practitioners for the Dark Moon Goddess retreat. This is Aleena Hill, and I have a particular fondness for Aleena because she is my sister. And but the fun thing is Aleena came to our last retreat, and Aleena has a lot of skills and talents. And so I actually asked her at our last retreat if she would do Qigong for us. And so which is a movement. She's going to give us more of like what Qigong is. In fact, Aleena, what is Qigong? Tell us all about Qigong.
Qigong is amazing. It is an ancient Chinese practice. It's a devotional movement and somatic movement for moving and experiencing the body from within through gentle movements and moving through meridians and connecting to your organs and using your own life force energy to build more energy and vitality and awareness and creating that mind body connection that really everybody's that we're missing. That it's something that's everybody's trying to find. That for so long we've been in these eras of just like stuff it, move on, um, produce. And I think what's beautiful about the Dark Moon Goddess is it's reminding us to come back, to come experience ourselves from within and through, all those ebbs and flows and rhythms of nature. And that's what Qigong is and does, is it uses your own body's spirit and energy plus the rhythms of nature to create an experience with yourself.
Ooh,
Wow.
I love that so much.
Love
That was
that.
like, that feels so yeah, that feels so expansive. So
Yeah.
explain a little bit about the movement, because I know there's some people out there that, I mean, we're calling in women of all ages. And so obviously there's this maybe fear around moving the body. So can you give us a little bit more about what type of movement it is?
It's so gentle. And I think I just would love to tell you my experience for one of the first times I ever did Qigong. I was probably about 37 at the time. So again, my body is okay and it's moving fine. However, I was having a lot of pain in my joints and my body. And it was hard to move at that time, and I couldn't, and I knew I needed to move for my own mental health. However, I didn't feel good enough to really have a movement practice. So when I found Qigong, it was actually through my dad, who has Parkinson's disease, and Parkinson's really takes mobility from the person that has it. And he was not in a good space as far as mobility goes, but we had done some research and Qigong was recommended to help with Parkinson's. So my mom bought a little box set, and I was doing it. I was in town and I was doing it with him one time, and I was overwhelmed at the gentleness, and not just the movement was gentle, flowing, but the gentleness of the entire experience. It was meant for so it was developed by, or not developed, but kind of created as a devotional movement. So Taoist and Buddhist monks would use this movement because they wanted to sit in meditation all day. They wanted to just commune with those outside forces, and realized very quickly that their body was diminishing. So they needed some sort of practice that would help them stay in that meditative state, but still move their physical body. And that's what I experienced. I experienced most of my life. I've just I'm a very highly sensitive being, and that wasn't okay. And it wasn't safe that way for me growing up. So I just stuffed. And it was manifesting in my body as pain, as it is my dad in his Parkinson's disease. And it was such a beautiful experience for both of us in our bodies communication to us to have this experience of moving this energy, connecting our mind and our body, and experiencing our body as something not bad and something that's not hard and painful. It was an experience of expansion and awareness from within. And so I don't know if I'm answering your question to what you want to say, but what I want to say is it's very, very, very gentle. Any age, any person can do it, because the point is not how far you can stretch or how fast you can run. The point is staying in the body, being with your body and knowing your own constraints, or like what feels good to you, because that is what Qigong is moving that energy how it feels good. So
I love that. And I can say, as somebody who's now over 50, and as someone who has lived my whole life in such a way that when I got to a certain age, I would not experience some of the health challenges that I have, meaning I've always lived super healthy, eaten clean, moved regularly. I'm not, big into like alcohol or soda or anything like that. And yet I got to a certain age where it has become more challenging to move my body. And the Qigong, when we did it at the Dark Moon Goddess, that was my first experience with it. I knew what it was, I'd seen it, but actually experiencing it was really life-changing. Like my body felt so good as I was doing it. And I've done yoga and other things, but this just, I don't know, the way that it moved my body was a new experience and a beautiful experience. And I loved how the movements the flows that you created for us supported the theme of the day at the retreat. I felt like it just opened everything up energetically so that the work that we did was even deeper.
yes, and that actually is something that I love about Qigong is the ancient technology philosophies of the Chinese people is so deeply intertwined. Nothing is left out. You're not just a body, you're not just a kidney. Your kidney is not just for processing. It holds a spirit. It holds light, like a positive emotion. It holds negative emotions. It has a transcendence. It holds our life force energy, right? Every organ has a personality. It has a way of being, and Qigong is tapping into those energies. So with the theme of the day, it's really a beautiful way to look at our body. We have acupressure points that will open up awarenesses. And when I say that is when you press certain acupressure points or move your body in a certain way, it opens up and releases stagnation, blockages, things like that. And so we have to understand that even our mind, because we are all connected, our mind can be blocked because our kidney or our liver is stagnant and we can't really process or understand, or we might have a physical ailment because of that energetic block. So I really love Qigong for the fact that when you want to work on the emotional body, sometimes people don't do very well in sitting in meditation or um, other ways of moving emotional stagnation. But as far as Qigong, it's a physical movement that's so gentle that can still put you in that meditative movement of emotional energy.
Mm,
Well,
so
I love that we're talking qigong because honestly, that was the element that Christine and I were missing in the Dark Moon Goddess retreat, is the element of movement. And so we are so grateful to have you as a practitioner, because you start us off on such a beautiful foot every single day of the retreat, where it's offering this ability to connect with our bodies, move our bodies, open up these awarenesses, open up and like shift the energy so we can actually process what we're doing for the day. And it's absolutely beautiful, but I would love to hear, Aleena, what your experience was at the retreat. What was maybe a favorite moment or anything? Just what was your experience?
So much. I have so much to say because I came as a participant. And so I just, oh, it was life transforming. And I want to say that even since I got back, there are so many times that I've been like, oh, that, but I'm measuring time before the Dark Moon Goddess retreat and after. Like it has been fascinating. And just really quickly, I want to say I mentioned before, just like being highly sensitive and just pushing down my feelings and realizing I can't. Life has given me the opportunity to stop doing that, and out of self-preservation, like I have to feel my feelings and I have to be the person I was always meant to be that didn't feel safe being authentic. So with that being said, the principles of what you teach in the Dark Moon Goddess at the Dark Moon Goddess retreat, the astrology has been extremely helpful for me, especially, you know, those midlife transits that you give to everybody. That has been personally really transformative. But I want to say I came into Dark Moon Goddess with um, spending years kind of isolating myself because I knew I was different and I didn't know how to relate to other people in my more authentic self. And so I wanted to come in with a feeling of belonging, or feeling like I could connect to people that could see me for me, and not just but that I had kids, because I was only ever talking to people about my kids or my religion or my home or my decor, whatever. None of those things. Well, my kids matter to me. None of those things. I have so much more inside, and I just didn't feel safe sharing it. And I knew that the platform and this retreat that you've created, because of the energy around it of honoring the mother, the maiden, the crone, I was going through some really resistance to that crone phase. And I knew I needed to see it for what it was and for what it was for me. So I came in wanting more belonging and more understanding of who I am, and more seeing myself and being seen for who I was. And I got that in it's so emotional for me, because I got that connection I was looking for. I got to be who I was and to meet people who were not afraid to be who they were. And as a beautiful example of what we learn about that crone phase is, as you move through it, you gain so much wisdom. And then to be able to turn back and say, this is what I learned, this is what I have for you, was so beautiful for me, because I feel like that's what this crone phase feels sad and like, oh, we're going to get older. But in reality, there's so much wisdom, there's so much authenticity, there's so much goodness. And as a human, me as my own human being, that's what I was searching for. I was searching for that connection, that learning, that understanding. And not only that, but I met some women in my area that we have come together and been able to create some community in like this within our own community, based on your examples for us. So it was life-changing and soul-changing. And I feel like I won the lottery that I get to come back and share Qigong and experience the Dark Moon Goddess retreat again and again. I'm the luckiest.
I know, I feel it. I feel lucky too. And because it is such a beautiful retreat. So thank you for sharing your experience, because that, I felt what you were saying so deeply.
Oh, I did too. And what you just described is the typical, like that result is typical.
Mm-hmm.
And it just touches my heart every time I hear it, or every time I see you and the friends that you made there together, and just this freedom to be in your essence, to feel good, about wherever we are on this life path, to collaborate, to have more soul expression through the communities that you're building, that ripple effect.
Yes.
Like, this is the outcome that when this retreat idea dropped in from source for me, and I thought about, what do I want for people after the retreat? Like, it was really clear what the retreat was, but thinking forward, and when April and I were talking about what do we want people to experience after, you just described it perfectly. And I really love how you talk about how it's become this time point before and after,
Mhm.
because that's like the cocoon. You have before the cocoon and you have after the cocoon. And it's vastly different what that cocoon point transformed from before and after. Neither one is better or worse.
Right.
It's just, it's a soul evolution. It's a soul progression.
Mhm.
And one other thing that I wanted to go back to, you describing Qigong as devotional movement, just this movement with purpose, this
Mhm.
movement that's so much deeper than just movement. Because for me personally, like, I can't do the treadmill anymore. I
Mhm.
don't like it. It's just movement for the sake of movement. Not that there's not benefit to it. It's just that there's, I want some, so if I'm going to walk, I'm going to walk outside.
Yes.
And the Qigong, because it just activates so much of those parts of our bodies that just want a little bit of love, it's really amazing. Like I said, it was my first exposure, and it's the thing that was kind of missing from the retreat. We just needed to be shown through you, what does the correct kind of movement mean? Because of course we'd go for a walk, or we dance, which are beautiful and wonderful, but this devotional movement is a game changer.
Yes.
Well, and I just like, it's interesting too, because I'm 37 and I definitely still have like a very able body. Like I could go run if I wanted to still. But at the same, and I lift weights and I really like exercise, but there's something so different about the Qigong. There's like, it really does, because it moves the energy. Like, it really does move the energy, and you feel like, even without breaking a sweat during Qigong, I feel as equally as revitalized, if not more so, after a Qigong flow than I do after lifting weights or doing a heavy exercise. So, the intention is completely different. However, the experience is really so fulfilling, and yet it's beautiful. Like, I just highly recommend it.
Yes, and thanks for saying that comment, because it's the exercise of experiencing the body from within. And so it's just a different kind of exercise than our brain is used to, but we still get the same benefits without the sweat, without the toil and the hardship, which is also necessary. So I like that you said that.
I love it.
And I just
Well,
want to also bring up, at the Dark Moon Goddess, I think our youngest person at this most recent one was in their early 30s.
Mhm.
And the person who had gained the most years was in their early 70s. And so we've got this very wide range of body age and physical ability and point in life. Like, there's a big difference between those points in life, and yet every single person loved it. There was not one person who couldn't do it, or who didn't benefit from it, or who didn't walk away going, that was awesome.
I'm so glad, because it is. I feel like that every time.
it is awesome. Aleena, we are so grateful to have you on as one of the practitioners. We love that that so if you're contemplating coming to the Dark Moon Goddess, if you signed up, if you're one of us, just know that you, like Aleena is there, and so you get to become friends with all of us, and so we're so happy to get to know her a little bit, and we are just invite you, if this sounds like lovely to you, really consider reach out to any of us. You could reach out to Aleena, even to Christina or myself, and if you have any additional questions or anything, and we would love to talk to you and see if you'd be a good fit. So thank you so much.
Thank you.